You know, it's not that often that a new car is born, and behind me is a brand new car. It's the Lexus UX. And coming up right now, I'm going to tell you the top 10 things that you need to know about the least expensive Lexus that you'll soon be able to buy. At number 10 has to be the fact that UX stands for Urban Explorer, and Lexus designed this to be an urban car. It's small, it's fuel efficient, and it's easy to park. Exactly the kind of thing that you'd want in a place like Stockholm, where Lexus flew me out to test drive this. Now, Lexus thinks that this car will actually sell much better here in Europe than in America, and I'm guessing they're right, because we like our cars XL or double XL, and this is definitely a small vehicle. At number 9 has to be what's under the hood. Let me show you guys. First, the front-wheel drive base car has a 4-cylinder that puts out 168 horsepower and 151 pound-foot of torque, but this hybrid gets a combined 175 horsepower because, of course, the 250h also powers the rear wheels via a separate drive motor that's powered by batteries in the back, which means that, unfortunately, let me show you, you don't get a spare tire, but you do get a little bit of a cubby back here. You also get a CVT transmission that has, get this, a regular first gear. It's basically the transmission out of the Toyota Corolla, and of course, this car also shares its platform with the Toyota CHR. Lexus says that it's a much stiffer chassis, but nevertheless, if you see a CHR, when you look at the Lexus, there's a good reason for it. At number 8, we have the fact that every Lexus UX comes with, let me show you, as soon as it starts up, that is, Alexa. That's right, it comes with Alexa and Apple CarPlay, which means that if you get a UX, you can do things like have Alexa check the fuel level in this car when you're at home, or vice versa, have Alexa help you out with things like, well, buying floor mats perhaps. And of course, this car, being a pre-production model, doesn't seem to have Alexa. But come December, when this car is available in the US, it will, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. At number 7 is the fact that Lexus says that at 34.2 feet, this car has the best in segment turning circle. So let's try that. Let's see how tightly I can turn this vehicle and not drive it off the pier. I'm going to see if I can do it within the frame, or if I go out of the frame. Is that 34.2 feet? Hard to say, but let's find out. Now keep in mind, if you're an urban explorer, you need to be able to park your car in tight areas. So here we go. Let's see how tight of a turning circle that is. Yeah, it feels pretty tight. Certainly small enough to completely, I think, turn around on this pier, but let's give that a shot. I'm going to try to see if I can make a complete U-turn on this pier without driving off the pier. All right, here we go. Coming around, 34 feet. Is that tight enough? Oh. Yep, and there you have it.
What happened to us? What happened to all the love we always took for granted? Are we stranded? Is it too late? Is it too late to color feelings that have faded? Complicated. I'm waiting for an answer.
And number 6 is not the fact that it has the family resemblance and of course the large spindle grille. It's the fact that it competes with other German luxury cars that are small in stature. Think of the BMW X1, the Audi Q3, and of course the Mercedes-Benz CLA. And guys, here we have all the specs for this car, and in case you're wondering how fast is it from 0 to 60, or in this case 0 to 100K, Lexus says 8.7 seconds, 80 to 120, 6.5 seconds. So not exactly the rocket ship of the Lexus lineup, but of course this hybrid is meant more for fuel efficiency than for carving canyons. At number 5 has to be the fact that Lexus says that this car has the best fuel economy in its segment for a vehicle without a plug. What is that fuel economy? Well, unfortunately, I wanted to get this review to you first, and that information is embargoed until September 12th. But if you go to tflcar.com on September 12th, we will certainly let you know what this vehicle's fuel economy is. So let's keep going to number 4. One of the unique things that I've never seen in a Lexus before are these audio controls that are right where you rest your palm in front of the little touchpad. So you've got your media selection, your volume knob, and you can of course tune the radio, which is nice because none of that stuff is where you'd expect it to be. But it does come to hand easily, especially if you're right-handed. And the volume knob especially is a really handy thing to have. I love when they have real knobs for volume and tuning. Let's go to number 3 on our list, and that is the fact that Lexus has designed this car to be urban friendly. I'm not sure what that means, but what I do like is the fact that you've got these 3 triple beams that are optional, and in the back, come on with me, let me show you. It's got this really interesting and innovative use of lights to funnel air across the side of the body, which Lexus claims gives you more stability on the highway. And then there's this impossibly thin line that runs across the entire back end of the car. It's actually 3mm LED, and it is kind of the design signature for the UX. At least I think it is. This is the F-Sport version of the UX, and what you get in the F-Sport, besides of course F-Sport badges and an F-Sport steering wheel, is right here. Check it out, paddle shifters. And the paddle shifters emulate a 10-speed automatic, because this car still has a CVT, but now you can pretend you've got 10 separate gears. So you can shift up, that would be here, and of course shift down, that would be here. Now, number 2 is the fact that this is a very, well, let's call it diminutive car, because I'm sitting behind myself right now, and this is how much legroom I have and how much headroom I have. You know, not a lot. Of course, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'2", and if you were, let's say, under 6 feet tall, I think the back seat wouldn't be that bad of a place to be, especially if the guy in front of you wasn't over 6 feet tall. In other words, for a small car, it's actually pretty usable. At number 1 has to be the fact that this car has something called proactive eco drive. What's that beside a mouthful? Well, it's the fact that the car, for instance, knows the route that you're driving and knows that ahead of you is stop and go traffic, in which case it will actually charge up the battery ahead of the stop and go traffic so that you're using less fuel when you actually get to the stop and go traffic. A very urban feature that increases fuel economy. Every Lexus UX gets a full suite of safety features called Lexus 2.0, and that includes things like front collision assist, where the car will actually brake if it feels an oncoming front collision. Same thing with rear collision assist, and of course lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring. There is an entire suite of safety features that now make this perhaps one of the safest Lexi ever. And is Lexi the plural of Lexus? I'm gonna go with that. The Lexus UX for all you urban adventurers will be available in December if you want the front wheel drive, or January if you want the all-wheel drive hybrid. Now, how much will it cost? That information is embargoed, but if you go to tflcar.com on September 12th, we'll have it there. Let's just leave it at the least expensive Lexus that you can buy. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, Urban Explorer Lexi reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.
Do you know one thing I really, really hate about every car company does this?
What's that?
They say they have a driver-focused cockpit.
Yep.
Have you ever heard anybody say they have a passenger-focused cockpit? Because that might be a bit of a problem.
I mean, Minis used to have the center.
Yeah, but isn't every cockpit driver-focused?
It should be.